Today we will discuss DC profiles. In this episode we will discuss the Columbia Heights Village Youngins from Uptown, Northwest DC. The Columbia Heights Youngins go by CHV, and CHV has a couple of rappers from their hood such as Top Soulja, Tall Slat, Too Lit, Baby Free Car, KCHI Glock, and more. These youngins get money from serving G-bags and going on ends all throughout Uptown. I've reported about 2 youngins from CHV before who are Young Threat's cousins and also allegedly shot at Mar-V. There would be some new information about Threat's cousins that surfaced in my DM. The person would say that there is shits going on with Threat's cousins from the V, and he would follow up with, so basically they put money up on a gun with they friend from Lincoln Heights who is at Doo-Wop 50th. Doo-Wop would then leave the iron at a girl from 17th house, and the 17th youngins end up confiscating it. He would then send a picture of the alleged youngin from 17th who took the iron, and after he took the iron, 17th would adopt the name Disarm Youngins. The cousins from the V would not like how 17th drags on them, so they tossed the brothers from Lincoln Heights iron to go spin 17th and up on their rank. And word on the street is that Threat cousins are now running their hood after they would get back for their fallen man Nico, who I did a video on a while back. Allegedly, the cousins would go up the park, aka LeDroit Park, with fat shit and get to dropping that shit off. This would be caught on surveillance by a nearby resident. The shooting would injure a teen, and 35 rifle casings would be recovered. Now we will get into youngins from the V kill Lil Tonio from Saratoga for his shoes. I have went over this a few times on the channel, but now we will go over the paperwork. There was blood pooling behind his head. The decedent was wearing a green hoodie, light blue purple brand jeans, and green, blue, and gray Jordan Ill sneakers with a white swoosh. There were no weapons near or on the decedent's person. There was damage to a Jersey Mike's window just above where the decedent's body was found, consistent with a bullet strike. A fragment was recovered from that window. A black Visa card in Juvenile AC's name was processed for latent prints with negative results. There was also apparent blood, a green shirt, and a firearm inside of Chipotle found near V2. Once the suspect vehicle stopped, it appeared that 3 suspects exited the vehicle and approached V1 and others who were on the sidewalk in the area in front of Jersey Mike's. Witnesses observed a suspect with a handgun and another suspect accosting V1 and appearing to pat V1 down and moving V1 towards a wall. At this time, V2 approached the suspects with a legally possessed firearm at IT's side as they were attempting to rob V1. A suspect then fired multiple shots. V1 was struck in the head, and V2 was struck in the left flank and middle left chest. V1 fell to the ground in front of Jersey Mike's. V2 fled into the neighboring Chipotle. Following the shooting, the 3 suspects appeared to re-enter the suspect vehicle. As one of the suspects ran toward the vehicle, it appeared that he dropped a pair of white sneakers. The suspect vehicle fled eastbound towards Rhode Island Avenue NE. Summary of 911 callers called to report gunshots and that there was a person hit who was lying in front of 2350 Washington PI NE. Police squad car number 5071 was on scene and an MPD officer was doing CPR. Did not see shooting but heard shots. A child called to report someone getting shot, and an adult female cut the call off telling the child to not call the police. A teenager appeared to call from same number, later reporting one person shot in front of Jersey Mike's. This person said victim was still breathing. The caller was not sure where the victim was shot on their body. The caller appeared to ask an officer on scene about the injury, but the officer indicated that a priority had already been called in, appearing to be speaking to the 911 operator from afar, called to report a shooting at 2300 Washington PL. This caller indicated that someone had just done gunshots and they were driving off in a car right now. The caller described the suspect vehicle as a blue, like a Honda. The vehicle was driving right by Chipotle and was about to turn. The caller indicated that IT heard 2 gunshots, and IT now sees people crying. The caller indicated that someone was lying on the ground. The caller described that there were like 4 black males inside the blue vehicle leaving. The caller indicated that the individuals were all young, like in their 20s. The caller did not see the shooting, but heard the gunshots. The caller did not want to leave IT's name or number. Interview of V2. V2 stated that it parked its vehicle in preparation to enter the Chipotle restaurant in the 2300 block of Washington Place, NE. This location is adjacent to the Jersey Mike's, where V1 was shot in the head and killed. Just as V2 had finished parallel parking against a median strip, V2 observed a small SUV stop in the middle of the street. This vehicle stopped just behind and next to V2's vehicle. V2 then observed 4 black male teenagers exit all 4 doors of the suspect vehicle. Each of the suspects were wearing masks. This group of 4 suspects proceeded to grab V1 and an unidentified teenager and force them against the wall of Jersey Mike's. V2 noticed that at least one of the 4 suspects had a firearm in his hand. V2, then 3 days later on September 14, 2023, members of the 3rd District located the suspect vehicle parked in the parking lot adjacent to 1432 Girard Street, NW. This vehicle was a blue 2018 Kia Sportage bearing a rear Florida tag, AN3 7CH, with white background and green lettering. There was no front tag affixed to the vehicle. It is believed that Florida does not require a front license plate. The vehicle also had a red, white, and blue sticker on the rear passenger window and an American flag sticker on the rear driver's side window. It also had the roof bike luggage rack. A pair of black latex gloves were discovered in the grass a few feet behind where the vehicle was parked. This vehicle appeared identical to the vehicle operated by the suspects on September 11, 2023, in the 2300 block of Washington Place, NE, during the murder of juvenile AC, Cam 19, Trinity Towers and floor elevator hallway. At approximately 17:06 hours, S1 and S2 exit the elevator on the 8ED floor. At approximately 17:06 hours, S1 knocks on the door of Uptown 805 and S1 and S2 enter Uptown 805. Detective Clay presented a single known confirmation photograph of Anthony Monroe, DOB 9/22/2006, PDID 739263 to Officer Whitfield. This image did not have any biographical data. Officer Whitfield confirmed that the subject in the confirmation photograph below left was Anthony Monroe, S2, and that he was the same individual that he had identified in the clips as the subject wearing the BAPE camouflage hoodie, S2, following behind Marion Smith Jr., S1. Additional identifying information: YouTube video, S1 and S2 together. On August 30, 2023, it appears that a rap video was posted on YouTube. S1 Smith and S2 Monroe are members of a group actively participating in this rap video. S1 Smith can be seen brandishing what appears to be a real firearm, likely a 9mm with an extended clip. S1 Smith can also be seen wearing a white eye shirt with a red and black strap draped across his right shoulder, similar to how he is seen wearing this satchel entering his apartment building just after the homicide. S2 Monroe can be seen simulating with his hands the holding and firing of a firearm, while others around him are brandishing apparent firearms, like S1 Smith. The video's lyrics, among other topics, includes killing others with firearms, i.e. 9mm. Additional identifying information: address of S1. During the course of the investigation, W9 assisted detectives. W9 observed the video that showed S1 and S2 entering an apartment inside of 3023 14th Street, NW after the murder of juvenile AC. W9 was able to advise detectives that the unit was apt day 805. Detectives were then able to obtain a lease. S1, Marion Smith Jr., was listed as an occupant on the lease, along with his mother and toddler. In a later interview described below, S1 confirmed this location as his address. Additional identifying information, arrests, October 5th, 2023, on October 5th, 2023. At approximately 07:30 hours, MPD-4, district officers were dispatched to the 800 block of Floral Place NW for the report of a suspicious vehicle. Upon arriving, officers located the vehicle matching the description provided by the concerned citizen. The officers came upon a red burgundy Nissan Murano bearing temp tag MD T14429 There was no front plate on the Nissan vehicle. In addition, the vehicle was running with the headlights on. Officers also discovered 2 juvenile males inside asleep in the driver's seat and front passenger seat respectively. Officers then looked to the left and discovered a silver Hyundai Tucson bearing DC tags JD4927. It was occupied by a juvenile male in the driver's seat. He was asleep and the ignition was punched. Officers then confirmed that the Hyundai was stolen. They were not able to initially confirm that the Nissan was stolen. Both vehicles were backed against a tree line. Officers called for more units. Upon their arrival, they removed the driver of the Hyundai, S1 Smith, from the vehicle without incident. A subsequent search of the vehicle on the scene yielded the recovery of a 9mm ghost gun with a P80 frame from the driver's door pocket and panel where S1 Smith had been sleeping. See photo below. The 9mm ghost gun, P80 frame, had a cartridge in the chamber and 10 cartridges in the magazine, which was marked to hold a maximum of 17 cartridges. Simultaneously, officers approached the red Nissan, which was occupied by 2 individuals, one in the driver's seat and one in the front passenger seat. The doors were locked, and the individuals inside ignored commands to unlock the doors, while the officers had their weapons drawn. When officers attempted to remove the driver, S2 Monroe, from the driver's seat, he placed the vehicle in drive and attempted to flee, crashing the vehicle into 2 marked MPD cruisers. During the struggle to remove S2 Monroe from the driver's seat, S2 Monroe reached back with his left hand and attempted to grab a firearm that was lying on the driver's seat, causing an officer to shout, "He has a gun!" The handgun was ultimately recovered without incident, and S2 claimed that the firearm of note of the 10 cartridges recovered from the Glock 9mm semi-automatic pistol, S2 Monroe, the one in the chamber and one other in the magazine, were brand-named GFL 9mm Luger. The only cartridge casing recovered near the decedent's body at the homicide scene was also brand-named GFI 9mm Luger. S1, Marlon Smith Jr., S2, Anthony Monry, and the other subject were each arrested and charged as juveniles, CCN 23-164-205. S1 and S2 are currently being held in a juvenile facility pending trial. The vehicles were recovered and searched at DFS. In addition to the 9mm apparent ghost handgun, a black Gucci satchel with a red strap was recovered from the floor of the Hyundai behind S1 Smith's seat. This satchel is consistent with the satchel S.I. Smith is seen wearing in the video following the murder, and which was mentioned by Officer Whitfield during his identification of S1 Smith. Also recovered was a pair of Nike nylon shorts from the rear passenger seat. That's the end of this episode of DC Profiles. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow my Instagram.